In Cantonese, master stock or lo sai literally translates to old water. It's a really strong and heavily flavored braising stock that you use over and over again. When you serve a dish that's been cooked in master stock, the point is not to drink the liquid that it's cooked in. Rather, you try to save as much of the stock as possible so you can use it again for the next thing you cook. This does two things. It flavors the meat that it's cooked in, and in turn the meat adds richness to the stock. Over time, the stock develops unique flavors based on what you cook in it. In Hong Kong, I remember my dad telling me that some of the shops will have signs bragging about how long their stocks have been simmering. Some will say that the stock spans generations, outliving those who used to serve it, as well as their parents and their parents before them. First make the stock, you use up quite a lot of ingredients in a rather large quantity. Basically, you add everything together in a pot and let it simmer for 45 minutes, and then it's ready to use. I also recommend putting everything tied up in a cheesecloth or a spice steeper, so you don't have to pick out any of the inedible spices later. Usually you use it with beef, pork, and chicken because stronger flavored meats like fish and lamb will give too much of their scent to the master stock and spoil it. If I want to cook things like squab or lamb, I'll generally make a stock specifically for that purpose and use different spices to better complement them. Another thing I'll do with my master stock is add seasonal elements. In the summer, I'll often put tomatoes, carrots, or corn. Also, I'll use specific spices such as cardamom to give it a brighter and more vibrant taste to match the season, while in the winter, I'll add mushrooms which will slowly tone down the brightness and replace it with a deep and earthy flavor. Right before the middle of the winter, I might throw in a few dried chilies. Not enough to make it spicy, but enough to warm up your body, just that much more. Treat the stock like a living thing that needs to be fed. It can breathe with the seasons, reach its peaks, evolve, and change. The trick is when choosing an ingredient to put it in, think of its opposite ingredient at the opposite season. If they taste good together, you'll probably be fine. Master stock needs care and attention. Because you keep reusing it, you run the risk of contamination. To avoid that, don't let it sit in the fridge without using it for more than a week. If you're not going to cook with it that week, throw it in a pot and let it boil a few minutes before storing it again. You can also freeze it, but that won't let it keep forever, maybe a month or so. It seems like a lot more work than it is, but really any time you spend caring for it, you save in not having to worry about having a really amazing meal. Grab a chicken from the store and clean it, maybe some pork chops. If you have a big dinner party planned, braise a brisket in there. For fattier foods like brisket, after you finish using the stock, just strain it and put your stock in the fridge and let the fat solidify at the top. You can easily discard the excess fat after it's solid. Each time you use it, it takes from the food as much as it gives. Just be sure to always replenish it with a little bit of its base seasonings, and you'll have yourself an heirloom stock that shared its life with some of yours.